What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri zone, and welcome back to a mask live. Let me call it a mask live because usually we do this live, but due to circumstances, one of them being I'm not feeling well, so I can edit stuff if I start coughing too much. We're recording this, and it's a it's a typical it's a typical international break, isn't it? It's one, or it's extremely boring, or it's all hell breaks loose for us. It's there's no in between for us. It's not a single international break I think I can recall in the last, I don't know, 2 years we've come out of and be like, hey, actually calm, fun. There's always something, and this is something because we're missing another player, well, at least for the season, probably longer than just the season. But with me, Norbert, Malik, how are you guys doing on this? I don't know, dark day.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing to say. International break just gets worse and worse every time. Yeah, other than that, it's a little cold over here, and winter is here.
Yeah, I thought it was midnight. That's how dark it is. But yeah, I just want club football back, man.
Oh yeah, it's dark outside. It's dark.
Yeah, it's very dark.
Yeah, once it hit 5, actually, I don't know how it is, over here. Like let's say it's 4:30 p.m. It's okay, and then like 20 minutes later, it feels like it's 1 a.m. in the morning. It's crazy. But that's not the only thing that's turning dark. Our season is turning dark as well. So the title of the show is should we lower our expectations? So we're gonna talk about that because of, well, various reasons. Also because I think that's kind of the vibe the media is putting out there, that hey, it is what it is. The season is kind of going to what. That being said, the season is not going to what at this moment in time. It's on pace basically, and maybe on pace to, I don't know, top certain people's expectations. But let's start off talking about the main issue, and that's Cabal being out for the season. I've seen different opinions on it. From this is a big loss to he wasn't a key element anyway, so we will be good. So I'm gonna ask you the questions. Where are you standing on this? Norbert, is it massive or is it we will overcome this?
So I think it's bad, but I think we will overcome this. And Cabal, I feel bad for him because he showed his potential, and he can be really good. And now it's a big blow, and it's an ACL. Is it? It's a rupture, right? So he tore it completely.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
yeah, so it's a long injury. But I think we can manage it, like on the big games, or the games that are like not when we're not playing against lower league teams, or like teams lower down on the table. We can play our first team, and then we will see. Like Savona can play center back better than Danilo. I'm sure. My son. I trust him. And then on the left side, Rui can play a few games. I don't think it's obviously a drop off, but like not crazy. And on the right, McKenny or whatever. I think it's a big loss, but until January, until the window opens, I think we should be okay. Um, just play the good guys in the big games, and then the rest, I don't know. We will figure it out.
Yeah, in my opinion, it is a blow for the next 2 months, especially because we can sign someone in January, Skriniar, and yeah, it's we're mainly gonna feel it if Kalulu or Gatti get injured or suspended. So if that happens, it's gonna be an absolute disaster, I think, because we literally have two natural center backs fit, and it's crazy to think about. Like, and think of how long the season is. Bremer is still out until the summer. Same for Cabal now at this point. So we need multiple signings in defense, I feel, in January. Whether it's two center backs, whether it's a center back and a full back, but something has to happen in January, like instantly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't I don't think we're gonna miss him in terms of like quality, and I like Cabal, but I think a week or two ago I said bench him again because I think balance wise defensively I think we're better off with what we're playing now right now, but that doesn't mean it's the same. I have the same opinion 4 months from now. I thought he will probably improve. Because he has improved since his first game. So I was like, he's gonna keep improving. So from that standpoint, I'm like, okay, in my ideal lineup with the squad we have, he wasn't gonna start anyway. But like you said, we have nobody else. Like we have four center backs and Danilo on the bench. And I know like people like to include Rui. I will not include Rui. I'm sorry. So we have Danilo, and I think the evidence is out there. I think finally everyone agrees that he's done. I don't think there's anyone left who believes Danilo is something we can actually trust at this point, no matter who we play. So that's my biggest fear right now. We play a lot of games. We come back next week and we play Milan, and it's Villa. It's I don't know, in Serie I blanked it out. It's Man City. Like it's a big stretch towards January, and it doesn't mean January the 1st we have a defender. That could be the last day of January, and then you need to like get up to pace, like, and then it's the end of February already. So it's even the thought process of in January we'll fix it. That's still a big massive if. Right now I think what I like, if we want to succeed this season, I don't think the quality that we will bring in January, in my opinion, is not going to be the difference if we're going to succeed this season, yes or no. I think the difference is Motta, how he's going to adapt with the players he has, because who is coming in January, we have no clue. If the club is serious about their project, it's not going to be a loan of I don't know, a player we know. You're done. You're like, that's pointless. Alcaraz type of signing. If the club brings in a player they actually believe in for the next couple of years, that means he's probably not ready made. Or it's impossible to get because he's playing at a team and the team is not letting him go. That's why I'm like, cool, January, and we need to do something purely because we are outnumbered right now. But for me, it's more about Motta in the next couple of weeks. He's gonna need to find solutions. I praise Allegri for the last I don't know how many years he was a coach. He always find a solution for a weird situation, and it kind of worked out most of the time. Is that McKennie? Is that Coal Miners? Is that Wea, buddy? I know you're happy. You're playing up front. That's what he said. But this is it right now. Are you gonna drop back? That's on Motta to figure out. So for me, Norbert, I'm more looking at how is Motta gonna react to this situation, because nobody can prepare you for this. Like, not Giuntoli's not prepared, nor should he be prepared for this situation.
Yeah.
And Motta, same thing. You cannot prepare for this. This is about how are you gonna adapt, and can you convince one of your players to do a job at a high level throughout, I think, the season, in my opinion.
So I respectfully disagree with some points. The loans, for example, if it's Kivior, who Motta knows, I think that's a perfect solution. He can play left back, he can play center back. I think he would be a really good solution as one player, but we need another one. And the other one can be. The problem is I don't think we have money to sign an actual player that is ready. So I think it has to be loans, at least one. And the other one maybe that as well, with a future fee or something like that we only need to pay next summer. But yeah, he needs to figure it out. Like it is what it is. Like, we didn't want to sign another center back. We signed Douglas or whoever, So now they need to figure out. And unfortunately, the next gen, that Spanish dude, they're gonna bring it up, but I don't think he's ready. And also the Brazilian dude is also not ready. So it's a mess. And yeah, as you said, the Motta needs to figure it out.
Malik, really quickly before you go, what I was trying to say is that you can loan Kiwior but I don't want a club to commit long term to Kiwior. That's what I was trying to say. So that's why I'm
Okay.
like, I don't think Arsenal are gonna loan him out for 5 months and be like, "Well, come back in the summer, you know, when we'll figure it out." I don't think that's gonna happen. That's why I'm looking at if I don't want Kiwior long term at the club. I don't. So that's why I'm like, right now I don't see options. Like you, Malik, said, Skriniar, that I can see PSG doing, loaning him out for 6 months. However, if the club is serious and Giuntoli is serious about this new project and whatever they told us, I don't think they're gonna do that, nor should they do that. I think that goes against what they were trying to do, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. That it goes against what they're trying to do, and that would be very clear if they do sign Skriniar or Kivior. But I'm not saying yes. I say I want Skriniar, but when I say I want Skriniar, I just want him until the summer, until Bremer is fine. I think these loan signings are just complete temporary fixes, just to keep the depth of our defense afloat
Yeah.
until the summer, and then from then we can go back to looking for like all the profiles that we're meant to be looking for again, because like this is a very extraordinary situation. Like this injury crisis in defense is like, I don't know, is there another team in Europe that has two players with the ACL injuries in their defense? I don't think so. Nothing, no one comes to mind except us. So yeah.
So one more thing is that I think two possible type of players can come in. Both for me, all in loan. One that knows the league, Skriniar is, for example, he knows the league, so he can adapt perfectly and really fast. And two, Motta knows the player. So I think with these short-term solutions for a half a year, we should be good, because it should not mean that we overspend or we spend more than than we should, and the situation is solved. So let's see.
Actually, the reports out there are that these are not options for Giuntoli and Motta, like short term. That's not what they're looking at, which is for me positive news in my opinion. You know, even like Skriniar knows the league, but does anyone know when his last good game was, or just his last game in period? Like you're bringing in a
Yeah, that's the
player
thing.
who is completely out of it. You know, that's I don't like even that. I'm looking at that. I'm like, it sounds good on paper, but the Skriniar everybody thinks about Inter is at this moment in time ages ago. Like, and even I didn't
Yeah.
even rate him that high at Inter. And the last season at Inter, I'm sorry, that was not good as well, in my opinion. So I think, like, even Sergio Ramos, people are like, oh, Ramos, have you watched him play again at Sevilla? I'm sorry, like,
Yeah.
have you watched him play? Like, we should not, in my opinion, like that's gone. You know what they have done in the past. I don't think it's gonna help us. I'd rather take a shot. I'd rather take because I don't think bringing in Skriniar is gonna make us win the like if we were winning the title with Bremer, for example, replacing him with Skriniar, who by the way, if he comes in, he's not gonna be a starter as well because Bremer was a starter. So I don't think we're gonna bring in a starter, in my opinion. That's one. I don't think it's like, oh, now we have Skriniar, we're back in the mix for the Scudetto. I don't think that's the needle mover. So, like you said, we just need to keep afloat with it back with an extra body. At that moment in time, I'm like, fine, get a player you actually believe in. I want to be part of this club for the next. Because if we're not gonna win it, if we were not winning, if people thought we were not winning with Bremer, then we were not winning it with Skriniar. At that moment in time, I'd rather get a player who's here, can acclimatize, and get because there's also a positive. Like in all of this, excuse me, I need to find one positive, and the positive for me is if you get that player who's gonna be part of your team for the next couple of years, he's gonna be ready next season, 100%. Because Bremer is
Yeah.
not gonna be ready to start the season. Like I think it's impossible. Nor is Cabal. That means even if you bring in that player in the summer, he's still not going to be ready for the start of the season. If you do that now, and if it's possible to do that now, it will be because, like I said, I don't think getting a Skriniar is the reason we will be back in the mix for the title. If anyone believed we were in for the title, you know, because I look at our opponents, I look at Inter, the way they play with that backline, not impressed. I look at Napoli's backline, not impressed, not impressed. You know, so that's how I'm looking at it. You know, because yeah, Skriniar, maybe I'm biased because I didn't really rate him. You know, and I've seen him at PSG in the last season at at Inter when he actually wasn't playing that much. Like, how good, how ready is he actually going to be to take us to the next level? And on top of that, he's not going to start. Because I don't think we bring in Skriniar or Sergio Ramos, people think, and Motta's like, sorry, Gatti or Kalulu, you're benched. I don't see that happening. I don't think they're those type of players, in my opinion. That's how I'm looking at it. But again, if Giuntoli comes out and it's like, it's impossible to get what we want, I can see why they would do that. Like, I'm not an idiot. We need players. Like, we don't have players at the back. We don't have options. We can go out against Milan and post-game you're like, fatigue for Kalulu. Not an injury, but he's out for 2 weeks. But 2 weeks is 4 games. That's a lot. So I get why, even if in desperation mode you get a loan, I understand that. But ideally for me, it's a no. Maybe it's PTSD, from certain deals we have done in the past, where it's like, what was that all about? I want them to get things right, and actually think things through, because they have time to think it over right now. Bremer has been out since September. Like the Cabal situation, that was my next question, because Bremer is out, we need a defender. Cabal is out as well. Do you think they're looking at bringing in 2 instead of 1?
100% too. 100%.
And what about Vlahovic? Because that was also, or like a backup to Vlahovic. Are they now at a point as well, follow-up question, where it's like, yeah, Milik, you need to come good?
Yeah. Like Milik, who knows? He's still now they say January is the date when he's back. Like, I think he's done life with football. It feels like he got injured in June, and now all of a sudden he's back in January. That's insane. So yeah, 3 players coming in hopefully the beginning of January, since they can already talk with them. It's they can already make the deals, and it's not like they can't talk with anyone. So they have time, but it's possible that the first week of January we already have the signings.
Yeah, maybe because if they're identified quickly and you start speaking to their agents or the players themselves before that, then the deal can get done pretty rapidly. Obviously, it depends on the club then. In terms of a backup Vlahovic, yeah, I didn't know Milik was out until January. I kind of forgot about his entire existence. I can't lie. In my mind, I always thought, for this period, Nico Gonzalez is gonna be the backup to Vlahovic. So, but when is he back? Is he back after the international break? Or?
Yeah, apparently.
Okay. Thank God. It was meant to be like a 3-week injury. It's been like
they say but
they say
I'm willing to put a lot of money on it. It's gonna be no. Like I'm pretty confident it's gonna be no.
It's crazy.
But like, I agree with Milik. I don't think we're gonna get a backup. They're just waiting on Milik and play Wea, false 9, playing Gonzalez, play Yildiz, whatever. I think they're gonna make do with those solutions. But now to the big question: should we lower our expectations after all this? I kind of forgot what your expectations were at the start of the season, so you can tell the people and me again as well, and follow up. Did you lower, or should we lower our expectations purely based on the current situation?
Personally, I feel like no. Like, my expectations were to be in fight for the Scudetto, which means within like 4 points off from the top or closer. And it doesn't matter. Like, Motta already showed that he can play with youth players even, and they can do a game. So my expectations are not lowered, and a backup left back / center back will not lower my expectations. So yeah.
For me, my expectation going into the season, I know I like to be crazily optimistic sometimes, and but this season, like my genuine expectation was to build an identity, a style of football, and give a good run in the league and give a good run in the Champions League and stuff. So I still expect that to happen despite these injuries. So to answer your question, no, my expectations aren't reduced, but it makes me a bit like because like I think, what if Bremer was fit, and so on,
Because I asked the question because actually this is a very good excuse for Motta. You know, like not for him to use, but if you are a fierce defender of Motta, no matter what, you know, you can use this and actually you can look at it and you're like, you lost your best player, you know, it's tough, you know, and then you look at the other options, you're like, you know, that's it. So it could be like new coach, very young team, like it's for Juve standards, extremely young actually, unexperienced, you know, as a manager as well, in terms of like career. The squad is unexperienced, man. Losing Bremer and then a player, you know, as a backup as well, that can be a very easy excuse or like a very valid excuse to say, yeah, man, if the season doesn't go as planned, um, I can get it. However, looking at Motta and the way he speaks the last, I don't know, 3-4 months ever since he's here, he's not going to use that as an excuse. You know, not obviously not in front of the media, but with leaks and all those things, it's just not coming out basically because, like you said, Norbert, he played players who we were all just scratching our head. Wait, we're like in Bangula, huh? Like Rui, you're starting Rui, Savona, like so. Again, this can collapse, and Savona can have a complete meltdown from now until the end of the season, and Bangula, you know, complete flop from now until the end of the season. Whatever, like these things can happen. Still, he found a way. So for me, lowering my expectations is also a no. You know, my expectation was like you said, like compete. You know, build an identity. I think we have half identity. Like I think what we want to do is clear. It's just not coming out to full potential. You know, but I was expecting that as well. So I will not lower my expectations as well. Like I've seen people go extreme where it's like, oh man, this is fifth and sixth right now. I'm not gonna do that because the pressure is still like this is still Juve. You know, I know the
Yeah.
injury is bad, but yeah, like deal with it. You know, I'm not asking you to win the Champions League this season. Like that's not what I'm asking you. I'm just asking you keep afloat, and the way the league is going, you probably should be competing. You know, right now, like
Yeah.
there's no. I know people like Conte once a week. I watch Napoli play, yes, once a week, but I'm sorry, like we shouldn't be scared of playing Napoli, even if we play 2 days a week. If I'm looking at this Napoli and Motta and the players are scared, then I would be extremely worried. In my opinion, it's open forever unless the only team who can run with it away with it is Inter if they click. But right now, it doesn't feel like they're close to clicking. You know, so
Yeah.
lowering expectations, I'm not so sure why, in my opinion.
Yeah. And for me, like the defense, okay, we will play less ideal formations in the back. I mean, how the players will, all the four players will line up. But we this offense will click at one point, and then it's going to be amazing. It needs some. It still needs some time. It's still not perfect, but once they click, we're gonna outscore anyone. So even if our defense is not perfect, I think we're gonna score some goals on teams where we decide to rotate in the back. So
I can't wait for the day that happens consistently. Where
yeah,
like, oh, we look good and we look like, a 4-0 and it's like, oh, it should have been 7 or something. And it's consistent. Like that's when oh yeah, this is starting to take shape like our offensive game.
That is that's actually my point because everybody like we're missing two center backs, defenders, and the main point or like the main thing people are talking about is still our front line needs to click rather than man, that back line that could be like that back line is probably going to be an issue if you make it out of the group stage of the Champions League, you know, whatever you want to call it.
yeah,
It's probably
Yeah,
going to
the
be an
league
issue.
phase.
Like it's going to be an issue because you're going to face teams that are just powered up front, and it is what it is. You know, we know the quality of that back line. You know, that's why I said all summer it's not good enough. You know, it's just not good. It's clear it's not good enough. But we couldn't fix everything. Fine, and it gets worse with the injuries. But in the league, it, it we should be keeping like it should be float. Like I don't know, maybe I'm too optimistic, but I've watched Napoli far too often this season for some reason, and I'm not sure why because it's not fun to watch Napoli. I'm sorry, like it's not exciting.
Yeah.
They don't like they don't strike fear. Like it's not about jinxing, but right now, looking at the table, the only team who was like, I look at Atalanta, I'm like, ugh, if we play them now, or Fiorentina, I'm like, ugh, weird one, you know. But other than that, I'm like, well, we can contain them all. It's just like you said, can we overpower them up front? That's I think that's more of an issue than can we be solid, because we can be solid if we are focused. We've proven that we can be very solid. It's just that that front line is probably everybody's talking point still, you know, and the Gonzalez injury is not gonna fix it. It's not that we're missing Gonzalez. That's why it's not clicking. It's not clicking because everything feels, well, it feels off. Like you can see
Yeah.
it. It feels off, and that's, well, that's some coaching, I guess. That's some Motta.
Yeah, but look at Motta when he arrived at Bologna. He didn't click right away. He needed some time, like half a year. So I'm completely calm. Like the goal should be top 16 or something at a minimum in the Champions League. It's completely realistic. Um, Even if we need to play like that extra playoff game, let's call it wild card or something like from NFL terms. But yeah, I think fighting for the Scudetto is completely realistic, even if we don't have enough players and all the injuries. So yeah, I think we were good.
Yeah, I think we'll be okay for the most part. It's just that, you know, our defenders still, the ones that are fit need to remain fit and available, because otherwise we're gonna start getting some really ugly lineups, aren't we? So
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like we're 1-2 fatigues away from looking at it being
yeah,
like, but you know, also the strange part. I think I have a feeling that some players play and then disappear. I've seen it. You know, like Fajoli, for example. Um, the last 3 weeks, I forgot about Fajoli until somebody brought it up post game. I'm like, oh yeah, what happened to him? You know, so I don't know what it, like he played a poor game the last time. I get it. You know, uh, however, it feels like he's working towards, okay, this is it. You know, Savona, Kalulu, Gatti, Cambiasso, Locatelli, Turam, Colt Miners, Weah, I don't know, Vlahovic, Yildiz. That's it. You know, for now, that's what I'm
Yeah,
like, and I'm okay with it. You know, I need to see some consistency, in my opinion, before I can say, yeah, Turam, you're not it at this moment in time. Because when I see a player 1 week and then the following week 50 minutes and then he's gone for 2 weeks, I cannot make my mind up. It's hard for me personally to make my mind up about that player. Right now, it feels like there's some sort of consistency being built into the squad, which is good because going to Milan, I want to see the lineup we saw against why do I
Torino.
Torino. Yeah, I want to see that lineup. Probably Gregorio will start. I'm assuming, but other than that, that's kind of it. Like that's the lineup. So build. I think that's gonna be important as well. Build some consistency because then, in my opinion, it will be easier to cope with an injury here and there. You know,
yeah,
in my opinion,
yeah,
because then you need to change one. If you have an injury in a squad that you rotate so many times, you're like, okay, that player is out, but what do I need to do right now? Was that a balance piece or was it just not a balance? Like for me, it makes it much more difficult. So, do you think that's the way to go, Norbert? Just have a typical lineup right now, and sub a player in and out here and there, because you play every 2 weeks, but do not sub 4, 5, 6.
yeah. No, no, no. It was horrible under Allegri as well. So I think Motta just needed to see what works the best, and now he saw it, and now that works the best. And I agree with the Turan point. It would be nice if Douglas Luiz wakes up, no, one day, and he's actually a footballer, because he's injured. He's injured too, and he didn't really show what he can do. So I think once he's healthy and once he's ready, I think he should be in the starting lineup. But other than that, yeah, this is our A lineup, let's call it. Like maybe Consensao starting on the right, depending on the opponent or something. But yeah, we can't change every week, because then there is no chemistry, and that's really important, especially in the back.
Yeah, and we've seen throughout this whole season where every game we'd have a different midfield, a different defense, and a different wing pairing and stuff. So it's nice to finally have a bit of continuity. And I think, the reason it happened was because, Motta was still trying to understand which 11 works best for his methods. And I think he may have found it so far. We'll see. But yeah, we need a few games with the same 11 just to, as you said, Norbert, build that chemistry, have that continuity. And yeah, it should start clicking even better like that.
What, like, because I think the Super Cup was the first week of January. I think, like, if I'm not mistaken. So that's kind of a break for me. I think if I'm Motta, I'm just playing.
Take the kids.
No, yeah, the kid, but just make a lot of subs because I don't.
Yeah.
Like I said many times, if we play Inter, I want to win because we play Inter, but I want to beat Inter in a friendly, if that makes sense. But the cup, like it lost. If it had a slight meaning still, or a value, it lost it all with what they did right now. It just makes no sense. It's a load of rubbish, and it's pointless as well. Just even more games for what, Last season was a game for third place. If it's this season, I'm gonna lose my mind. Like, I'm gonna lose my mind. And if Motta actually plays players in that game that we need, I'm gonna lose my mind because it's completely pointless with all the injuries, the ACL things. Like, I think that's a sign to just, for what? I've seen we get 1 million. I'm like, are we that desperate? To get an extra mil? Like, are we in this situation right now for 1 mil? It's good for the fans over there. I get it, but come on, like, that's not a Super Cup. So that aside, basically, the games coming up, they are going to be intense. Like, we are playing, like, season on the line games for some, because I'm still not looking at the standings. I will do that, at the end of January, start of February. That's where I'm like, okay, how many points were we off? If it's 8, I'm like, it's not going to be this season. It's not going to happen, If it's still 3, 4, I'm like, you're in it. And now comes a real task ahead, basically, because we play Champions League again. 21st of January is the last game or something. Like, we're still playing Champions League in January, meaning there's no rest, because usually when does the Champions League starts? It's at the end of February, start of March.
Yeah, like mid-February, like Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I mean, it's late now. There's no rest with the playoffs. It's just you go again and again. So that being said, we talked about Vlahovic because he's the only option right now. Hot topic this week in the media was Zirkzee. From almost every source out there that he needs to leave. Or Man U are open to let him go, which is I want to say not surprising and surprising at the same time. Because of the situation, the Saktanak got a new coach, so it's weird to just suggest that the new coach doesn't like him as well. But let's say the option is there to get him on loan, maybe with an option, who knows? Would anyone of you jump on that, opportunity to bring him in? Let's say it's a loan with an obligation. You need to buy him for next summer. Like, it's done. You need to buy him. Is any one of you being like, yes? Or is it like, yes, but if such? Because it's a weird one. For me, it's a weird one. The Zirkzee one is a weird one. Because if you get Zirkzee with an obligation and so on, Vlahovic is out of the door, in my opinion, this summer. You kind of made your decision. That's how I view it.
If there's a chance to get him without second thinking anything. We need to get him. Like, it's not realistic, and I think it's stupid. That, like, this whole rumors is dumb, is baseless, is complete false. It's insane to me. Like, the new coach just arrived. He doesn't even know him. He doesn't even. It's crazy. And also, why would they he's the first sub, he's the first one coming in as a sub, and they sub the striker. So I don't know. And he can play many positions, even behind the striker or on the wings as well. I think it's silly, but we should get him and not think about it. And Giuntoli is there to figure out what to do. I don't care what's happening. If we keep him and we keep Vlahovic, I don't. If Vlahovic wants his 12 million plus bonuses or whatever, then he can go. But yeah, get him right now.
Yeah, same. I'm with Norbert on this. And honestly, I think getting him would improve our style of play tenfold, because he was the key for Motta at Bologna, and we can't forget the player that he was over the last 2 seasons. So yeah, he has very unique qualities, very, very technical player, and something we don't have, and something we probably need. So yeah, I'd take him. Even if it's an obligation, by the way, I would take it.
Yeah.
I think it will fit, but if you get him, you're gonna play a different brand of, up top it's gonna look different,
It needs to look different.
It should,
top.
yeah.
It needs to.
Yeah, but if you get him, you know what it is, if you get him, you're gonna need to play him, otherwise it's pointless. And what is that gonna do with Vlahovic's value as well for the
I
season?
really don't care. As long as we play better and we beat teams, I don't care who plays.
That for the fan is a fact, but for Giuntoli's point of view, it's if you're not signing a new deal, if we're not finding a new solution, we need to keep your value high still. Because we can take hits on the. We've took some hits with players. It's a massive one to take,
Yeah.
for Vlahovic if it doesn't work out. So it's that's why I'm like you, Norbert. I'm the rumor sounds nice, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's a priority right now for Giuntoli as well. I think it's clear what the priority is.
As long as Giuntoli and Motta talks about it and they decide that, okay, let's go for him, then I'm fine, because then they think long term as well, and they have it in their heads what's going to happen with Vlahovic. So I think if we decide, and if it's actually true, and if we have a chance to sign him, it's going to be the right decision for sure.
Yeah, and especially if that price is discounted, since he hasn't had the best time at United. So
it's only he's there for 3 months or something, so it's
I know,
so silly, this whole thing.
That's why, when I saw this rumor, I was like, journalists must be bored. It's a very lazy link, So
yeah.
But I don't know.
How I describe
maybe there's substance to it. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. Before we wrap up, something completely different, or had nothing to do, or could have something to do with Juve. Because somebody asked me to do that, and I keep forgetting it. I was planning to do it with Julian, and I'm pretty sure I would have gotten an absolute banger from him. But somebody asked the guests if they have a wild take regarding football now, the present, the past, whatever, maybe in the future. Do you have a take that maybe you've kept for yourself and never put out there, or you've put out there 1,000 times and people are just shooting you down? I don't know. The take could be Danilo's a good defender. I mean, a lot of people have that take, which was wild. But does anyone have something crazy where it's
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
And it's connected to you actually, and I mentioned this many times. I think the difference between Vlahovic and Holland, I don't know how to say it properly.
Haaland.
Haaland is not Haaland. It's not that big. There is no. It's only mentally, and only it's a little bit. Otherwise, Vlahovic is better in many things. His technique. I mean, how he shoots the ball is better. His handing game is better. He's I don't know. He's except mentally, his mentality or mental issues. I think he's a better striker. And yeah, that's my wild take. And I know it's wild, but I said this already.
You know, it's like the mental part. I agree. Like he's on top.
Put Vlahovic in this Manchester City and he scores the same amount of goals.
I
That's what I'm
believe
saying.
you, Norbert. I just laughed because I remembered that quote that he said, like, Haaland is faster than me, but for the
Oh
rest
yeah.
we compete. I just remember that quote every time he has a
You know
bad
what it
game.
is
Someone puts it on Twitter.
with
That's why I
Haaland?
laughed. I didn't laugh at your take. I just laughed at that quote.
I don't know
No,
how
it's
many
fine.
people watch Man City, but if Haaland doesn't score, he looks rubbish. Like, and
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
you
That
can ask Man
that's why
City fans
it's a
if you
solid
know
take.
Man City fans. If he doesn't score, he's rubbish. You know. However, he scores a lot of goals, so that's why people are gonna tell
He
you
has a lot
it's a
of
wild
chances
take.
as well.
Yeah, because like, and he's physically he's stronger, like he is, and but on the ball, I think he's rubbish as well. Like I don't think he's good on the
Yeah.
ball. Like I
He
don't think he's good.
Come on, how he runs with the ball is like I'm losing my mind every time I see that. Oh my god, it's the ugliest thing.
I would still take Haaland, but
Yeah, same. But like,
You think Haaland would be better in Italy than Vlahovic? It's
um,
no, no.
yeah, I mean like the way we play. Yeah, I mean physically he's a bully in the box as well. So
uh,
if
Haaland
he
is
put
bigger as well than Vlahovic.
yeah, I mean, I get it. You know, he plays for Man City. It's different. You
Mhm.
know, but I agree with the mindset. Like he is mentally extremely strong. You know, and
Yeah,
he
Yeah.
believes he's
he's
the
a
best in the
beast.
world, which is good
Yeah,
because he's proving it, I guess.
yeah,
But if you as a Man City fan, if he doesn't score, what do you think of him? Like
yeah.
I've seen Man City fans say it, like
Hmm.
it's awful. Like it's not
It,
good. But at the end of the season, he has 40 goals, and people are like,
mhm.
whatever, you know? Because if Vlahovic had 30 goals every single season, nobody would be talking about his first touch.
Yeah,
Nobody care.
I do agree with Norbert. Like, if you throw Vlahovic into a different team, like I said this last year, like if you put him in Bayern, for example, it's gonna be a 40 goal a season striker.
I'm not so sure about that, to be honest.
Like all
I
competitions,
don't think,
not
like, I
not just the
like
league.
Vlahovic, but I don't think he has the mindset, nor do I think he will ever get there. Like, he's very emotional, and I was, at this point, I'm like, you should have it under control, because not starting right now, it's 2 seasons and a half, or, like, if you're still, you
Stay young.
still, yeah, but, like, come on, like you need to stay in the game. He just complete like he has a great how do you want to call it? Like a
Moments.
great
Yeah.
talent to just get out of the game without
Mm.
like him missing a chance. Like just get out of it because he had a bad touch and then he starts doing weird stuff and like his mindset is probably his biggest enemy right now. Because
Yeah,
if
but
you're mentally strong, you will do things you probably stink at, but they're not gonna look god awful. They're gonna look semi decent, and people are like, okay, fine, you know.
I think this part can be worked on. Like what you cannot work on is how he shoots the ball when it's free kick. Haaland will never
Mm.
score a single free kick
Mm.
goal,
Oh yeah.
even if he tries a lot. And this mentally, and you know the strikers are the best age between 28 and 30. So like I still believe in him, but I would sell him if if there's a right price and we can sign similar player for less. But yeah, that's my wild take that Vlahovic is as good as Haaland and even in some cases better.
Oh my, people are gonna.
Uh,
Oh. You
uh,
know what is
Abby comes gonna DM me the first time for sure for this.
and for the record, if someone told me, would you sell Vlahovic for like 70 million and get Jonathan David on a free? I'm jumping on that ship.
you
Call
know
me crazy,
you know
but
what I
like I'm
always
jumping
say?
on that ship. Huh.
Like how many people like is there actually anyone? Not how many. Is there anyone who's like I enjoyed watching Inzaghi play football? Like there's no way anyone
Oh yeah.
enjoyed Inzaghi. However, he scores goals. So people are like, oh, he was amazing. But actually, from what I can recall,
Oh my god, I hated him play.
he was not a player you want to watch. Like I'm sorry. Like there's no
Yeah,
way you wanted to watch Inzaghi. However, at the end of the season, he got his goals and well, that's what you need to do, I guess. You know, so that's why I said if Vlahovic had 25, 30 goals every single season, everybody will be absolutely calm with his bad first touch, whatever.
he will get.
But he's not getting 20 right now. So that's the issue. I think that's the main issue. He's very inconsistent even with his finishing. But Malik, do you have something at top set?
Well, I have two in mind. Are Or I don't know, 3. I don't know how much. Just say them all, or just.
What? I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, okay. Well, one is that if Berardi joined in 2015, he would have had a world-class career. Number 2 is in 2016, if we went past Bayern, we would have won the Champions League. And number 3 is we should have signed a midfielder instead of Ronaldo.
So I agree 100% with you. I think I agree. I think if we went past Bayern, we would have won that. And that sounds weird as a Juve fan because we end up losing in the final. But that season, I had a feeling it was
It was
something
just
special.
different. That season was just different. Like
Yeah.
that 15-16 season, the spirit in that team, the quality and talent in that team was just.
And we had better
I
squads, in my
missed that
opinion.
season actually. Like I really enjoyed watching that season.
We had better squads in the past, yeah, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, not 90, but like a year or so before that.
Like
But the spirit was insane. And
yeah,
we
like
played good.
the season after, where we reached the Champions League final, and the season before, you could say the squad was way better in those 2 seasons. But that season in the middle, I don't know, just something about it. Like it was just really good, really good to watch. Just really good spirit in the team. It felt unbreakable, and we were very unfortunate not to go through that Bayern. Like those chances, like they live in my head. Those Morata chances,
Oh,
that
yeah.
offside, that
So
The
wasn't an
offside.
offside, that 1-on-1, that
yeah,
Evra clearance. It lives in my head always.
yeah. Berardi. I don't think he has the what's up here in the head
The
to.
mentality, yeah,
Yeah.
that's if
Yeah,
he had that, he should have
but he
made that
didn't.
move in 2015, in my opinion. But yeah,
Yeah,
Also, he's one of those players who will get his goals. But every time I
Mm.
watch him, like, you're too slow for the top level in that position. I'm sorry. Like,
yeah,
every time he plays at a higher level, he looks completely off the pace. So I would disagree with that. With the last part, with the Ronaldo
yeah,
one, maybe, but I understand why they did it. You know, it looks bad
hmm
because COVID hit. I think that's why
yeah,
everything looks bad. Because
yeah.
if COVID
hmm
didn't hit, we would probably, like, I'm not gonna say we would have won in Champions League, but we would have added more quality to that midfield. We would have done
mm.
that because of COVID. It didn't happen, and well, it turned out to be a complete disaster. You know, at the end,
Yeah.
not on the field
We,
because he got his numbers and stuff like
yeah,
that, ridiculous
obviously.
numbers.
Hmm
But like in general, like, so I get why they signed. Like I, maybe it was too soon. You know, maybe it was 5 years too soon for us to take that step. But again,
So
hindsight is easy to say. But at that moment in time, like if you get given the opportunity to do that,
Oh, you do it, obviously.
you're
But
gonna do that.
we also needed an 8.
Oh yeah,
I really wanted Milinkovic
yeah,
Savic that season as well.
uh, Agnelli wanted to do something different, and he wanted to just think outside the box or something, and he decided to get him. And for me, Messi is 2 times the player as Ronaldo, so I wasn't too happy about it, and I never liked Ronaldo, and I just accepted the same way I will accept that Hamilton will drive a Ferrari, which is insane still. But yeah, I agree. We should have signed. We should not have signed him.
yeah. But it did happen. So we moved past it or not. You know, the lawyers are still debating if we move past it.
Yeah.
Uh,
We will see if we move past it, past that. But yeah, that's that.
Is that wild enough? Did you hear
That
wild
was wild
stuff?
enough. That's wild
Nice.
enough.
yeah.
Actually, I asked
We're,
a question. I don't have a wild take. I don't think I have one
Mm,
of wild takes. I don't. You know, because people like to spin the word. You know, because I know the comments will be like, "Oh, you think Miretti's world class?" Never said that. You know, but I know what the comments will say. I still believe in Miretti. If people think that's a wild take, even though he's thinking
mm,
it out at Genoa, as Genoa
yeah,
is thinking it out, you know, it's a
yeah.
horrible squad. But actually, I don't think I have a wild take. Not on the spot, you know. Um, no, I don't think I have one. Julian has one. He said Trezeguet is not a legend, you know. So
oh no.
I think
Wow,
Oh no.
I think that's a
No.
wild
wow.
take
That's the
for.
That's
wildest.
yeah, that's the wildest of all takes.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't think I have a wild take. You know, not no, because I try to be very cautious with calling players world class or like something crazy. You know, the chat had a wild take. I'll never forget that when I needed to debate until 2 a.m. in the morning that Chiesa is not better than Mbappe. I'll never forget I had to do that with Julian. That was a crazy live show. Thanks for that,
Wow.
everybody. Like those are wild takes. I don't really think I have one. Probably when I end this recording, it will pop up in my head. We're like, oh, good thing I didn't say that on camera. You know, let me keep that for myself. But other than that, no, nothing special. It might come for the next show. I'll think about it. I will sit on it. But yeah, that's it. That's it for this one, I guess. Next week we play. So it was another week of I want to say rest, but I don't. There's no rest for us.
Struggle.
It's struggle. It's praying.
Just
hoping.
powering through the international break as always.
Yeah, and hopefully everybody comes out fit. That's
Yeah.
But if someone injures,
much.
if someone injures himself, by the way, this international break, I will lose my shit because then we're done.
oh, if McKennie. So
Oh yeah,
Or Kalulu or Gatti, that's worse.
yeah.
Kalulu is he?
Kalulu is indestructible.
Oh my god.
I touched the wood.
Yeah,
Pause.
I touch it as well.
Norbert wants to say, is he called up? But it doesn't mind because players are, tearing up his ACL in training.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
doesn't really matter for us, training. I think at this point they can, do their ACL just walking their dogs down the street. I think we're in that situation right now. With
Then Koopmeiners will play as a CB as a center.
Oh
he-
yeah, just like in his Alkmaar days.
Yeah.
he
2
talked
games
it
he
into
played, 2 games.
existence. He really did. He said it a week
Yeah.
ago, and here we are.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna do it. It's probably gonna need. If Allegro was still the coach, we would have seen it very, very soon. Go out there, cut gold miners for the last 50 minutes at home against, I don't know, Venezia, and just figure it out at center back. Let me see how that works. But with Motta, I doubt it. I doubt we're gonna see it anytime soon. But you never know. You never know. So people, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll be back alive, not sure, probably next week, building up to Milan, because it's a big game. Despite what the table is saying, they will be ready for us, and they play better in big games than in the smaller games. So we need to be ready for that game because we need to win. We definitely need to win in that one. So let's see. Norbert, Malik, thanks for doing something different for once. Was a pleasure. Norbert, whatever happens in the comment, that's on you. I'm not gonna help you.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Just gonna put out my notifications for this one for sure. But yeah, I will speak to you guys maybe next week. If not, it's gonna be post Milan, and we will see what we have to say back then. But thanks for joining, people. Thanks for watching. See ya. Ciao.